My parents abandoned me at 13, and now they want me to play Big Brother. I was standing in the middle of my kitchen, reading a text from my dad that I hadn't heard from in 8 years. Hey kiddo, we know it's been a while, but we had another baby. His name is Connor, and he's 6 now. Your mom and I were thinking maybe you could help us out. You're good with kids, right? I literally laughed out loud. Good with kids? They wouldn't know. They left me with my grandma when I was 13 because they wanted to find themselves and travel around in some beat-up RV. Grandma raised me through high school, worked 2 jobs to keep me fed, and never once complained. She died my freshman year of college, and I had to drop out to pay for her funeral. But here's the crazy part. They weren't asking me to visit or catch up. They were asking me to take Connor for the summer. Apparently, their finding themselves phase was over, but now they wanted to go on a 3-month cruise to celebrate their anniversary. The text said Connor was too much work for a cruise ship, and they figured I could handle him since I was basically an adult when we left. I was 21, working at a warehouse, living in a studio apartment that barely fit my bed and a mini fridge. My weekly grocery budget was $30, and I was still paying off grandma's medical bills. But sure, let me just take care of the kid they actually wanted to keep. The funny thing is, I almost said yes, not because I forgave them, but because I felt bad for Connor. He didn't ask for parents who thought kids were seasonal accessories, so I texted back, I'll think about it. Next day, they showed up at my apartment, just knocked on my door like nothing weird was happening. My mom had this fake smile plastered on her face, and my dad was carrying a backpack that I assumed belonged to Connor. The kid was hiding behind my mom's legs, staring at me like I was a stranger, which honestly, I was. We're so excited you want to help out, my mom said, pushing past me into my tiny apartment. She looked around with this expression like she was trying not to judge how small everything was. Connor's really easy. He just needs someone to watch cartoons with and make him sandwiches. I stared at them. I didn't say yes yet. My dad laughed nervously. Come on, you're family. Family helps family. That's when I lost it. Family? You left me with a 70-year-old woman for 8 years. You missed my graduation? Didn't even know grandma died until I called you. And now you want me to babysit so you can go on vacation? Connor started crying. My mom bent down and whispered something to him, then looked at me with these wounded eyes. We made mistakes, okay? But Connor needs stability right now. We thought you'd understand. I looked at this scared little kid who was probably as confused as I was 8 years ago. My parents were still standing there waiting for me to fix their problem. But instead of taking Connor, I did something they probably never expected. I called my cousin Beth. She'd been trying to have kids for years, couldn't afford the adoption process, and worked from home doing graphic design. I put her on speaker right there in front of them. Beth, remember how you always said you'd love to help a kid who needed a temporary home? I've got a situation. Within 2 hours, Beth was at my apartment with a car seat and this huge smile. She knelt down to Connor's level and started talking to him about her dog and the sandbox in her backyard. The kid lit up for the first time since my parents dragged him to my place. My parents tried to protest, saying they didn't know Beth well enough. I reminded them they didn't know me anymore either. Beth had references, a clean house, and actually wanted to spend time with Connor. As they were leaving, my dad turned around and said, "This isn't what we had in mind." I smiled at him. Good. Maybe Connor will get something better than what you had in mind. Beth sent me pictures all summer. Connor building sandcastles, eating ice cream, laughing at her dog. She ended up keeping him permanently when my parents decided they wanted to try living in Costa Rica next. Last I heard, she's in the process of officially adopting him. He calls her mom now.